So now we're going to talk about development, workflow, and environments. You know us. I'm Diana. That's Aaron. And we come from different sides of the aisle. I'm primarily a Windows person. I'm exclusively a Windows person. And a solo developer. Aaron is primarily a Mac person and works with a team of developers. So we each have unique perspectives on development, workflow, and that sort of thing. So this is what we're going to talk about. 4 different ways to create a development workflow / environment. One is local development on your own machine, installing a web server and the PHP and the MySQL and all that on your own local machine and doing it there. The other is using a host that offers a staging environment. And then there's creating a subdomain off an existing website that then where you develop and then you change the DNS. And the 4th way is just if you have a brand new site, you can just develop on the hosting service, assuming that the host will allow you to do that. So, which one of these is best? Anybody want to take a guess? It depends. Isn't that our stock answer for just about everything? Factors that we use to decide which one of those is the best thing would be the size and complication of the site, whether or not there's one developer or several. Obviously, you can't develop locally if you're using multiple developers. It doesn't make much sense. Personal preference, and that's where my decision usually goes. Whether or not the host has staging options, and whether or not you're doing a new site or you're redeveloping an old site. Okay, we're going to talk about local development. These are 4 of the most common local development environments. I don't know whether you say WAMP or WOMP.
WAMP.
WAMP? Okay. It sounds better as WOMP, but.
Yeah. That would obviously be with an O. WOMP.
Well, or if it's very classic, it would be WOMP.
Yeah.
Okay. WAMP and MAMP are essentially the same thing, except Windows versus Mac. And there's also XAMPP and some others, but for different. Yeah. For different operating systems. Okay, you're gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna demo real quick why I use local development. I use MAMP if it's a site that that I haven't developed. Because if I am developing it from scratch with my team, we're going to be using Vagrant. And Vagrant is kind of uber techy in the aspect of if you know command line tools and you know what VirtualBox is and if your computer worked, that is what I would recommend. You guys could Google VVV if you're looking for if you're working with a team. I highly recommend using Vagrant. But I'm going to show you what I have done. Such a low resolution screen here. This is my site, sideways8.com. I went ahead and installed a tool, and most of you guys I think use Backup Buddy for this. I use Duplicator. But what I've done is I've gone to the site, gone to the back end, I have hit a button, and it created a zip file. Okay? Now, if I were using CodeGuard, I could also download that zip file. Nonetheless, it tells you here, if you want just the SQL file, you can get it. If you want the package, meaning the zip, which includes the SQL file, you can download that. I have gone ahead and downloaded that because I didn't know how the internet connection was going to be. So here's the zip file. I'm going to go into MAMP. Oops, not that. new window. Do not have sideways 8. Alright, so I've downloaded it. I'm going to set it up locally, and I'm going to do sideways 8.dev, and tell it, let me go over here real quick. And I'm going to create, well, I'll do it GUI, hold on. Okay, so I create the directory sideways 8.dev. Go back to MAMP. I tell MAMP where it is. Sure I do. Here. I can't do this with a low resolution. Give me 1 second. It's ridiculous.
I wouldn't get single page.
I can't. Display. How do you change?
I'm not sure.
Give me 1 second. I can do it.
Does the projector take over your display?
Over here. Over here. I'm over here. All right. So I can see more of my screen here. So I think this is funny. What am I doing wrong? Try one more thing. I do this all the time, and I don't know why this isn't working. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Alright, here. Sorry guys. Got the windows. Okay, I failed. So what I'm going to do is just use an existing site. So let's say that worked, and I honestly don't know why it's not working. I'm going to use a directory called WP Slides. I'm going to zip that up. All right. So let's say everything's working, and I have downloaded this. This is my site where I have a zip of everything. Okay, copy those. I drop it into the WP Slides directory. Paste it. I have this great SQL file, and so in MAMP, I'm going to go to there it is. How many of you guys are familiar with PHP-MyAdmin? I would assume most people. What you want to do is go in and create a directory, or not a directory, sorry, a database. I'm going to call it test.dev, and I've created it. Now I want to go into here and import the database, which is, sorry, import, choose file, sites, WP Slides, which is here. So So I grab the SQL file from the zip and hit go. Did I hit go? There it went. Okay, I guess a big database. All right, so now I have a WP slides.dev, and it's going to say can't connect to the database, which makes perfect sense because it's looking in WP config file for the exact same username and password as what was on the server. So there's only one more step. Hopefully no one copied that. Password root by default. WAMP uses root, and database was test.dev. All right, everything else I think will work. So now when I go to MAMP is running, the server's running, we set everything up, so we go to WP slides.dev, and in theory, yes. Database name, test.dev, root. Because of all of these defines. Give me just a second. I'm going to copy over. What are we looking for? The reason why this is working is, or isn't working is because I'm using WP Engine, which uses some really different configs. It's supposed to be easy. I did not test. I did not test this. I'm going to try one more thing, and then if this doesn't work, it's supposed to show how easy this is, but I did not have time to test it. Yep. I'm going to let you continue.
I'll show them in WAMP.
Okay. Well, nonetheless, you're supposed to be able to download my whole point was showing this in 5 minutes. How you can download a file, zip file, have it up and running, and you have an exact copy of your site. And the whole point of having an exact copy is you're not working on a live site. You're not making changes, breaking something, and the client saying, "Are you working on the site?" You can work locally, where you have all of your all of your images, your CSS, your everything you need. So it's a total duplicate of the site. And I'm going to get that working while you demo.
Okay.
Well, she talks about a better solution.
I'm going to talk about the Windows version of that. Actually, what I'm going to do is slightly different. I'm going to show you how I run up a new site, one that I have a new client, and we're ready to start creating a new site, and this is how I run it up on my local machine first before I go anywhere else. Okay, so down here, this is my WAMP server, and you'll see it has links to PHP MyAdmin, MySQL. These are all the sites that I have. What I have. What? Seriously?
What are you people doing?
Okay, we're jinxed. We're jinxed here. Alright, let's see what happens.
keep going.
Okay, Houston, we have a problem here. I'm not kidding, this is bizarre.
My issue was a caching problem, which WP Engine does a really good job caching. I just needed to delete the cache file.
Okay. Well, the process is essentially the same.
Yeah.
What I do is I have a starter database that has, I have a starter site that has my base theme that I always start with. It's a framework that I wrote myself. I have the plugins installed on the site that I normally use for most of my sites, and all of my settings set up the way I like them. I like to start with them. And all that's in a database called Starter. So the first thing I do is go to Starter, Operations, and I copy the database. So I'm going to have all my settings just the way I want them. So I'm going to copy the database, data and structure, and I'm going to copy it to something called New Test. So that I've now made a copy of the database that has all the stuff in it that I want. Then I go to my file manager. WAMP sets up its own directory, its own inside the web server, and where's the www folder?
See,
I don't see it either.
What directory?
My www directory is gone. I was just looking at it an hour ago. Where did it go? We have gremlins.
that would certainly create a forbidden area.
Yeah, you think? It's just not there.
Why don't you search for it?
Do what?
Why don't you do a search for it?
Well, it's supposed to be inside this directory and it's not there. There's a directory called www, which is where all those files are stored. Okay. Okay, well, pretend like I have a set of directories. All I do is copy it to a new directory and change the WP config as he did. You just change the database name. And at that point, you have run up a brand new site. I don't know what else to say. That's bizarre.
The live presentation gremlins.
No kidding. I mean, we went through this at, like an hour ago, and it was working great.
You can't do a search for that directory.
It's not there.
Nobody.
It didn't move. It's just not where it's supposed to be, and I have no idea why.
So back to me.
Okay, you want to have something else?
Well, I mean, I can. Go ahead. You can move on.
You want just to move on? Okay.
Well, I mean, I've
Leave
got.
us. It's very easy to do, and we can show you how to do it if you want.
Yeah, I got it working. So,
Okay.
and it's an exact copy of my live site. It's just local, so I'm not going to screw anything up. And so if I modify any CSS or whatever, I can just upload what I'm modifying. So I do that a lot when a client has a problem on their site. I install Duplicator, download the zip, set it up, and literally, normally, in 5 minutes, I'm up and running, and I can troubleshoot without, touching their server. So and I don't have to waste time uploading files and downloading files and all that junk, so, that's all.
And I use it primarily for running up new sites because I do the initial designs, you know, in the browser before I show it to the clients, et cetera.
I have a question in terms of the computer you download or install the local host to.
Mm-hmm.
If I install it to my desktop, that means I need to be working on my desktop when I need them from the site.
You got it. That's the con for local development. It's only accessible on your local machine. It's not accessible from your laptop or to show your clients. Yes, ma'am.
Is it possible to put it on, like, Google Cloud or something like that and work from there?
Not easily. I would.
I don't know how to do that.
The way my team works is we use Vagrant, and it's all under version control. And so I start working on the site, and I mean, my team can go in, pull down the site, and have the database, the exact same database, the exact same files, and everything that I'm working on. They can pull it down and work on it, make changes. We do commits, and so we don't overwrite each other, basically. So sometimes there's 4 or 5 of us, you know, working on the same site. So it all depends on, I think, size of the company, so, or team.
Does Vagrant provide this source code control, or is that another tool?
You use Git for that, or Mercurial. So, but yeah, Git is when we do commits, it gets pushed up to.
Okay.
I don't use GitHub. I use Bitbucket. Same concept though.
Okay.
Cheaper. Well, that's why I use
Yeah.
Bitbucket. Local development considerations. A lot of people who like local development like it because it's faster. You don't have to change the file, save the file, go to your FTP, upload the file, and then look at it on the server. It's all, as soon as you make a change, it's immediate on your local server.
ServerPress is for beginners who've never used a local environment before, is very like plug and play.
Is it? I've never used it.
Very, very like simple.
Very cool.
What
Okay.
plugin is it?
It's ServerPress.
ServerPress desktop server.
It takes one step out of the equation. So if I'm using MAMP or she's using WAMP, we still have a process of uploading the files, importing the data, or pushing the database up. ServerPress, if I remember correctly, you type in the username and password, FTP, and database, and it migrates it for you. So it's one. It's kind of like the easiest of them all.
It's like Xamplite, I think is what it's based on.
Okay. I've never used it. I couldn't get it to run on my Mac.
I haven't used it either. I don't know, that probably shouldn't be under the pros because you really can't tell if the server setup matches the live server. Unless you set it up that way, yes.
Hi, Aaron? Is that you?
Yes.
Yes, hi. You talked about Duplicator. Is that a WordPress plugin?
Yeah, it's a plugin. Yeah, it's in the repo. So.
And you said it basically duplicates the WordPress file to your local machine, and then you make changes, and then it only uploads the changes.
Duplicator only zips up the site. That's all it does. From that point on, it's a manual process. So if you want to download, if you want to set it up locally, you have to set up MAMP, you have to download the zip file, you have to import. All the things that normally takes me 5 minutes that I failed at a second ago. I was just skipping, or not skipping a step, I had one thing. So, but the plugin, that's all that does.
Okay.
So.
Also the database and everything, too?
It creates the SQL file for you, yes.
Is it a free WordPress plugin?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
And it does the mapping, it changes your links when you migrate, which is nice.
What does?
Duplicator,
Okay.
so you just put in a new server name and all links, internal links change.
So it does essentially what Backup Buddy
It does
does.
exactly that.
That's what I use Backup Buddy for, is migrating.
I used to use that and I stopped because Duplicator does the same thing, it's free.
Yeah, that's one of the problems if you don't use Duplicator or Backup Buddy or something, is you've got to change those internal links yourself. And that can be kind of a nightmare if you don't know what you're doing.
Hence that one, yeah.
Hence the plugin here, the search and replace plugin. But again, it's a manual process and you have to go through all the steps. Well, that was where we failed.
Yeah.
Okay, failed demonstrations. Okay, now let's talk about hosted staging site. Okay, I'll show you SiteGround. Where did it go? Oh, no, I didn't cut it up. Okay. One of the hosts that offers one-click staging sites is SiteGround. I'm going to show you my account. I'm not going to actually run up a staging account because it does take 3 or 4 minutes and there's no point in sitting there watching wheels spin. But I'll show you the sites that I have. These are all the sites that I have posted there. And no. Come on.
Don't you have a toolkit?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, it's the cPanel. Little brain thing there. Okay. Right here on the cPanel, there's a thing called staging. And you look at all the domains that I have there. And these 3, I have created staging copies. These 3 I haven't, but creating a staging copy is as simple as clicking that button and then waiting about 2 or 3 minutes for it to create the copy. Once you have the copy, you can make as many copies as you want. But essentially, just clone your website. You can make changes to it. You can view it. Your clients can view it just like any regular site. It just creates a subdomain. When you're ready, you can make your staging copy your live copy of the site. Just a one-click thing. Get rid of it when you want. Change it so you can have 2 staging copies. I don't know why you'd want that. What confused me. Huh? Okay.
I was agreeing it would make yourself crazy.
Yeah. I would get too confused and not know where I was. But anyway, this is the no-brainer way to do it if you have a host that provides this kind of service. Do you want to show us WP
Yeah, I'll show
Engine?
WP Engine real quick.
Okay.
I didn't realize that SiteGround was basically using cPanel to do that.
Yeah, they are.
So, but the hosting provider has to interface with SiteGround? Or?
No, the host, SiteGround is the host.
That is the host?
That is the
okay.
host. And they provide that service. Not all hosts do,
Okay.
or not in that fashion. They just happen to have that as part of their service.
Right.
So I'm a fan of did that again. Okay. So I'm a fan of WP Engine for hosting, and I'll show you the interface real quick. It's the same concept as SiteGround. It's the same as Pantheon, Pagely, etc., etc. But what we have here, this is sideways8.com, and what I can do is go in here to my dashboard. There's this WP Engine button, or menu item. So there's some caching settings and junk like that, but here's the magic, is the staging. So I can very quickly, and I did this yesterday, or 2 days ago, I can hit this button, copy the site, so it makes a copy of all the files and the database, and it puts it on this site. So I wanted to, let's go back real quick. I didn't want clients to see me swapping out this background image. I wanted to try something new. So I just went ahead, I hit a button, so in two minutes or less, I've got a copy of the site and I can tinker, which I think is best. Even if you're not doing local development, at least get in some kind of hosting where you can do that. It's really nice for the clients to be able to do that. And then the engine, or WP Engine's interface, I mean, it is stripped down compared to the cPanel, but you still have the majority of what you need in here. But one thing that I do like with WP Engine is that it has Git integration. SiteGround has
too. I haven't done it, but it does.
Yeah, so what we can do is people can do a commit, it goes into GitHub or the repository, and then it's automatically pulled up onto the staging environment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you don't use WP Engine, you use MAMP because it's quicker. You don't have the
No, I use both.
Oh,
So,
you use both.
yeah, so I use MAMP or Vagrant. I do it all locally, and my team works all locally. We push it up to staging so the client can look at it, and then when the client says, you've got everything, looks great, you go back into the back end of WordPress, and instead of going from live to staging, you go from staging to live.
Right, so you created your staging environment using WP Engine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
But you could actually create your staging environment with WP Engine and make all your changes directly in staging and
Yes.
then show the client.
Which is better than doing it on the live site, So
Right.
yeah, it's a step in the right direction.
Right, but the reason you don't do it is because it's the speed of being able to test locally just outperforms.
I am when I'm doing CSS changes,
Mhm.
I'm hitting save, refresh, save, refresh,
Right,
save,
and
refresh.
that's tough to do over an internet connection.
Uploading, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, or if I'm
Right.
at the airport, I'm working, no matter what, or if I'm
Right.
going to Florida with my family, my wife is driving, and I'm working, so.
So you don't have a data connection.
I'm sorry?
So you don't have an internet connection
Right.
sometimes while you're working, right?
Right. Well, I mean, which is rare, but I mean, it still comes in handy. So,
You don't have to clear your cache.
I'm sorry.
I said you don't have to clear your cache,
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you want to pick up? I
Um,
don't know where we are on the
I don't
slides,
know where we are either.
so I'll let you.
We're somewhere.
So if we wanted to set up a WAMP or a MAMP environment, are those shareware tools, are those open source tools that we would use? Or what tools are you using
So,
For what?
to set up your WAMP environment?
I got it. WAMP is free and MAMP is free. I know for MAMP, there's a paid version and a free version. Free version gives you localhost.dev, and you can have as many WordPress sites as you want, but they're going to be in a subdirectory or something like that. I use the paid version because it's $60 or something like that, and I'm able to set up sideways8.dev, clientname.dev, and it makes a more accurate, exact replica of what's live. Because if you don't do that, you're going to have to go in and change all your paths from website.com to localhost.dev/, it's messy. I don't know if WAMP has a free or a paid version. I don't
honestly don't know. I just have the one that I downloaded. I have it, theoretically, I have it on here and on my desktop. Let me try to restart that. Okay, where are we now? Creating subdomain. If you don't have that hosting environment, you don't want to use a local environment, you can create a subdomain on your hosting account. Everybody know how to do that? Your cPanel, it's pretty easy. Do you think we need to demonstrate that? I'm asking you guys.
No.
Do we need to demonstrate it?
I wouldn't mind seeing when you add a second website on your cPanel. You've got your first initial website,
Mm-hmm. and then you create a subdomain. Do you know how to add a subdomain?
I did that.
Okay. And where did you get stuck?
I went in and changed the WP config sample file to, that's about the sample for the name, but somehow I'm missing some step because I can't actually launch.
At subdomain.yourdomain.com?
I can troubleshoot that.
Yeah, we can troubleshoot.
After.
When you guys answer questions, can you repeat the question for the video, because since they're behind, they don't pick up.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks for the reminder. Okay. And that's all we got. We have a list of resources here. I'm going to make these slides available on the WP Whatnot site. Oh, do your little plug. These slides, by the way, these beautiful slides, see how wonderful they are? This has been created by a plugin that Aaron is in the process of writing, and we're testing it out here for the first time today.
Yay.
It's not ready for publication yet, but
basically
it's very close.
The plugin just uses Markdown, which I think the last meetup we had discussed that. I was going to say, can you show them the Markdown?
Yeah.
I can run it. With you now.
And creating these slides took me about a fifth of the time that it normally takes to create slides for a presentation.
How many of you guys use Markdown? I think we had asked that last.
You and me.
Yeah, 3 people.
You and Mickey, that's
Okay.
right.
Well, this is essentially what it looks like. It's very, very simple. I mean, I had never even heard of it until a week ago. And I wrote this in, 20 minutes. The hashtags denote H1, this denotes H2. It's got an image, the asterisks are bold. This is how you denote a link. It's very, very
This
simple.
is used for, on a lot of, like on GitHub, a README file is Markdown, and then GitHub renders it where it has bold and bigger fonts and whatnot. And so this just allows people like me that hate PowerPoint and Google Slides and things like that. It keeps me in my native environment. So if you look, you know,
this particular page is all of those slides. The 3 dashes denote a new slide. So the whole slide presentation is just that one page right there.
And it publishes to a page?
Yes.
And then your
well,
page
it's
is
a custom
slides?
post type.
yeah. So
Custom post type?
So hit view slide. So you see the first one, it says about us, and when we hit and it's centered. So about us,
that's really
center. So it's just 2 weeks ago I spoke and I had to it was time to create the slides once I had all the information, and I knew that was going to take me hours. I actually was able to get this working, I think, quicker than I would have if I had built the slides.
Do you have to do it in the text view, or can you do it?
You can't do it in the GUI.
You have to do it in text.
You could. I'd like to see you try and see what happens. I'm sure it would fail miserably because WordPress, puts BR tags and things like that, so it'd be ugly really quickly.
Well, the interesting thing is that.
And I didn't repeat the question.
You have to create this in the text file. That's the question. In the text mode of your editor. But it will be published soon.
Yeah, once we have some bugs worked out. So,
right.
But
it's a great little plugin, and it's awesome for creating
What's the name of
slides
it?
quickly.
WP Slides.
WP Slides?
Yeah, it wasn't taken.
Wow.
So yeah.
So hurry up, and we'll include a link to your plugin in the notes from today's meetup.
Okay.
Yeah, get going.
Get cracking.
Yeah. So, if anybody wants to set up a local environment, right Now we have about 20 minutes. I'm more than willing to help you guys get a local dev rolling. So, anyway.
Or anybody else have questions?
I have a business question. I'm a front-end web developer, and I've worked on larger projects working for consulting companies like the Creative Group. But in terms of,
We're
so I
going to
haven't
stop the
developed
Periscope
WordPress
now.
website. I've used Bootstrap. I haven't
Period.
developed
Stay
WordPress
tuned for a
websites
live
for small
recording to be
businesses.
uploaded
So
to
in that
YouTube.
business model, when you create websites, it sounds like you're using a tool that would allow you to restore